Hey there, Ravens flock. Welcome back to Baltimore Talk, the weekly podcast giving you a recap of every Baltimore Ravens game from now to postseason. I'm your host, Anthony Propst, and I'll be bringing you everything you missed, plus my own personal thoughts, opinions, and analysis. Last night, we witnessed I wouldn't say tragic, but semi-disappointing game in Week 18, the final game of the season between our Baltimore Ravens and the Cincinnati Bengals. And I'm going to be honest with you, everybody out there, fans of Baltimore Talk and just part of the Ravens flock itself, I only got to catch the first quarter of the game and sprinkles here and there because I am on a work trip. So I was on an airplane all day and I did not get a chance to listen to the whole game, but I did get to listen to some things. And like I said, I got through the first quarter, and this is going to be a relatively short episode because if you guys can't tell, I am getting a little sick as well. But even with it being a relatively short episode today, I did want to still bring you my own personal thoughts, opinions, and analysis because you guys seem to love it. You lovely gentlemen and ladies out there seem to love my podcast, so I will gladly bring it to you no matter what. Rain, shine, snow, sleet, sick or not sick, through the whole game or not. Anything for my fans. But before all that, I will say that we did have a lot of our heavy hitters inactive yesterday, and I understand that. Playoffs, our wild card game against Cincinnati next week, back in Cincinnati, we wanted to keep them healthy, and I understand why, so we definitely didn't want to have them out there. So that is completely understandable on why we had a lot of inactives yesterday, that being our regular quarterback, Tyler Huntley, who was also being in for our regular quarterback, Lamar Jackson, who we still don't know his status and what will be, if he will play in the postseason or if he will even be a Raven next season. We all know we want him to be a Raven next season. I know I want him to be a Raven next season, and I still expect him to fully be one next season. But we were also missing, aside from the two quarterbacks, we didn't have Mark Andrews, no J.K. Dobbins. We didn't have a lot of our heavy guys on offense, and same with defense as well. And that is because we got to go back to Cincinnati next weekend on Sunday night. So we got to save them that, not headache, but save them those body aches, that way they don't get roughed up and banged up. But with all that being said, let's jump right into it. As I will also, like I said, I got the first quarter and some other things here and there. So I will be talking about those few highlights and obviously, as usual, our press conferences at the end as usual. But to start us off, Baltimore did win the coin toss at the opening and did elect to receive, which with the way how we had our third string quarterback, Anthony Brown, in, plus not a lot of our heavy hitters in that are usually in, I think this respectfully wasn't a great idea. I think we definitely should have elected to defer instead, because that way we could have handled the situation better and maybe even went in a different direction going into the third quarter, because we definitely weren't in a good space. So I think we could have handled that better, but no worries. So with us electing to receive on 1st and 10, Anthony Brown, our third string rookie quarterback who we just elevated from the practice squad a couple weeks ago, he gives it off to Gus Edwards, who does run for the first down. Then on 1st and 10 again, Gus is stood upright from there, stopped the line, no gain. Now on 2nd and 10, it's an incomplete to Kenyon Drake. We haven't heard from in a few weeks. He hasn't been inactive. We just haven't been feeding him like we usually do. So nice to see him finally get some reps. Then on 3rd and 10, Isaiah Likely gets the ball, but he stopped just shy of the first down, and it will force a Ravens punt. And now on 1st and 10 for Cincinnati Stein, they run for a short gain of 2. Now on 2nd and 8, it's complete for 7. On 3rd and 1, they do convert. Now on 1st and 10 once again, it's another run of 2 yards. Then on 2nd and 8, Joe Burrow in trouble. He avoids a sack, and he was able to run it for another 6 yards. Now on 3rd and 2, the Bengals do convert once again. On first down, they're only able to get it 2 yards. They were really running it yesterday. Their run game was impressive for Cincinnati, I won't lie. Now on 2nd and 8 with 8:32 left, Roquan Smith, he gets a nice stop after 2 yards. He's able to keep the ball going from any further. Now on 3rd and 6, Hurts from the Cincinnati Bengals, he did get the first down. Now on 1st and 10, the play is broken up in the end zone. Luckily, we got lucky because that was almost a touchdown for Cincinnati, so we were able to get that broken up and get that stopped. Now on 2nd and 10, the Bengals do convert and get first down. And then on 1st and 10 with 6 minutes left, it's an incomplete pass thanks to Marlon Humphrey, who did break up the play. He was able to get his hands up, able to get his hand inside and slap that ball out before it was made complete. Now on 2nd and 10, the Bengals do convert once again. And on 1st and 10, it is 1st and 10, 2nd and 10, and 3rd and 10. Joe Burrow, all incomplete. He tried to throw 3 different passes, 3 different routes to 3 different people, and he just couldn't get it to hang on. So that'll force the Bengals to attempt a field goal for them, with putting up 3 points, first 3 points on the board there. Now on 1st and 10, back on Baltimore's side, the first play, Anthony Brown, he throws an interception, the first turnover of the game, and it was on our side. And I do know a lot of us, we hate to see turnovers. We hate to see our quarterback throw that, because that's those mistakes that we, especially this late in the postseason, and luckily we're in the postseason in the wild card spot, taking on Cincinnati next week, so hopefully we'll have a chance to correct ourselves. But this is just one of those things this late in the year and late in the season you don't want to see happen and you don't want to see get done. Now on the Bengals, 1st and 10 once again, Chuck Clark, he's able to get the great stop. This one, he stood them up right at the line, didn't hand off any yards. So now it is 2nd and 10, and they go incomplete again. And now Baltimore trying to get their first 3 and out, which unfortunately they couldn't because they were able to convert once again. Now on 1st and 10, they run for 9 yards. 2nd and 1, they get it again. Then on this next play, I believe it was Justin Matabike who got the nice stop and ended up getting in the backfield and getting them for a loss of 2 yards. So now on 2nd and 12, they throw the ball and they're down just shy of at the 1 yard line. So now it is 1st and goal, and the Bengals end up getting a touchdown with 1:11 left in the first quarter, and that'll put it at 10-0 with them leading. And now it is 1st and 10. Gus Edwards runs it for 5. On 2nd and 5, Gus Edwards, he ends up going nowhere. And then on 3rd and 5 is also the exact same thing. So that is how we end the first quarter here. And that, honestly, it definitely was not a Baltimore first quarter. I'm not going to lie to you guys. We had the first turnover of the game. We couldn't stop the run game on Cincinnati's side, and we really were not holding down like we should have. We were not converting on 1st and 10s or 2nd and 5s or 3rd and 5s. We weren't getting those touchdown conversions, or not even those touchdown conversions, those first down conversions like we usually do and like we should. I just don't think that we really played like we should have, didn't get things done like we should have, and it wasn't Ravens football like it should have been. I know we definitely had our moments. I know we had a good field goal and a great touchdown last night. And that touchdown came courtesy of Kenyon Drake, who had a great 4-yard touchdown thanks to great blocking and great handoff. It was definitely a good one from Anthony Brown being able to hand it off to his man, Kenyon Drake, who was able to find the hole and get a great block. So it was absolutely beautiful to see. And that courtesy came right after the 2-minute warning in the second quarter too. So we were only trailing by 10 at that point. It's still trailing going into half, which is what we definitely hate, but it definitely, at least it wasn't a shutout. We were able to get things going and get things moving, and then in the last 11 minutes of the game, Justin Tucker hit that final field goal that put us at our 16, and as the score was 27-16 by the end of the game, nobody ended up getting any more scores at that point, and that was with 11 and a half minutes left in the game itself. So that was just a dogfight back and forth after that. But we all know at the end of the day, that wasn't Ravens football. We know how Ravens football is played, and I personally don't think that was proper Ravens football. I believe that, yes, because we had a lot of inactives due to our starters wanting to stay healthy and stay rested up for next weekend, I definitely think that we had a better option, or not better options, but we had better opportunities with there almost being a second pick. Sammy Watkins, he definitely had some great runs. He definitely had some great passes. There was a great pass in the third quarter from Anthony Brown to him. And Justin Tucker hit his 51st 50-yard plus field goal. He's now 2 behind, I believe, an NFL legend or record, I believe it is. But yeah, other than that, like I said at the beginning, I was on a plane for a work trip, so I didn't really get to see the entire game. I didn't get to take my proper notes, but I do have, as I always do, the post-game press conference with head coach, obviously, John Harbaugh. So let's let him speak for a moment.
John, what do you think of Anthony Brown and his first career start?
Yeah, I mean, he's out there fighting, made some plays, did a good job. Obviously, other things to learn from. He's a smart guy. He'll take those things and learn from them. Our guys appreciate him. They know he's another battler out there, and made some outstanding throws. I liked it. I thought he did well.
Were you happy to see the rookie tight ends sort of get a chance to show what they can do as playmakers?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's a great point. I just thought those guys are big targets, and they'll tell you they want 2 catches back. Each of them, want a couple inside breaking catches back. So that's how competitive those guys are. So those guys are going to be really good players for many years to come here. No question about it.
John Harbaugh, what he's saying, yeah, Anthony Brown, he's a young quarterback. The guys like him. I think he did great. Like, for being a rookie and just getting signed, I think he definitely did pretty well for himself. Granted, yes, he's going to have to take what he learned and what he did do and what he didn't do and have to take that in stride and have to go from there. But at the end of the day, Baltimore football was not played, but that's okay because we know what's coming down the pipeline. We know what to expect from John Harbaugh, from the Ravens. He even said it himself that he thinks the defense did amazing. And I agree. I think the defense was outstanding yesterday. As he said, yes, there were things that we could have done better, but at the end of the day, I think we didn't have a great offensive day like we usually do and like we should. To collect my overall thoughts, I don't know. I think it wasn't Baltimore football like it should have been played, but other than that, I think we definitely have things to do this week before going to the postseason on Sunday night. Back in Cincinnati, against Cincinnati, I think we definitely will have, since we'll have more of our actives, more of our stronger players, more of our starters back in, because like we said, we wanted to keep them out, keep them healthy for what we need to do for the playoffs. I think that things will get better for us, be back on track for us, and we'll definitely have a better shot of things to come and where to go. But other than that, Ravens flock, like, I do apologize that I wasn't able to get the entire game. Like I said, I was on a plane for a work trip, and as you guys can hear, I am a little sick, so I don't want to continue to risk anything here or just give you. I at least had to throw, even though this is going to be a micro episode, it's still, I want to still count it and still make sure I don't miss anything and make sure I at least get to tell you folks out there about the game, as always, because I love you all. I appreciate you all. It is all you fans out there in the Ravens flock community and in the NFL community and in the football community itself that makes me feel special and makes me want to do this constantly and makes me want to do this full time. I know I would love to do this full time. Believe me, like I said a few weeks ago, that season 2, it will be back next year. Once preseason starts, I will have 3 preseason episodes next year, or next season, I should say, or however many games we play for preseason. And then after that, we will go into the regular season. And hopefully, I can get us on a different platform. And if we get on another platform, everybody will know, because not just on here on RSS.com, shout out to them for always letting me upload my podcast. We're also on Spotify podcast as well. So all you'd have to do is just look up my name on Spotify and you'd find every episode. And this one will be up there later tonight as well. So you will all be able to listen on here, on listennotes.com, or even on Spotify. So there are a lot of platforms you could stream this on. Tell your friends, tell your family, anybody who's a Baltimore fan that you know. Go ahead, tell them, tune into my podcast. And I will see you all next week on Monday after Sunday's game. Hopefully we have our people back. I know for a fact that if we have our people back, we will be making it to the second round of the playoffs, as we are in the wild card position. But we will be back on Sunday at 8 o'clock back in Cincinnati. Thank you, everybody, for listening once again. I've been Anthony Propst here on Baltimore Talk, and goodbye.